I'm going to share first to give his vocal cords a little bit of a rest here. Um, so as Matt said, I am Angela, but we are all friends here, so please do call me Ange. I know that there's a lot of people who know me as little Angie Alcorn running around Good Shepherd, and so if you call me Angie, I'm okay with that. I might feel like I'm wearing pigtails, but it's okay. You can call me Angie, but please feel free to call me Ange. If you call me Angela, I feel like I'm either at work or in trouble, so. So I grew up in a pastor's family. I grew up at Good Shepherd. My dad was one of the founding pastors of Good Shepherd. And so I accepted Christ at a young age. I think I had a great example in both of my parents and in a lot of people around us. I really have been fortunate to have a lot of amazing friends that have also walked through life with me, and a ton of encouragement to just keep following the Lord. So I went to Good Shepherd School all the way through 8th grade, and then went to Barlow High School. In the middle of that, actually middle school is when Dan and I met. It was love at first sight. It really wasn't actually love at first sight. It was maybe for him, not so much for me. No, that's okay. We actually became really good friends. We were friends all the way through high school, and then our senior year, actually, I'll tell you the story another time. Come and ask me this story, because it's a great story. Dan was very bold and courageous, and I was like, what is happening right now? But we got together our senior year, and it's been ever since then, and we have 2 boys, Jake and Ty. Jake just turned 21. He just got married this summer. Major life changes. He is down in Phoenix, Arizona, finishing up at Grand Canyon University. He will be done in April, and hopefully we're gonna draw them back this way, especially with the grandkids. I mean, when that happens, they better be up here. But then Ty is home with us. He went to Grand Canyon University also last year, but is now home and finishing up some education online, and will get a big kid job here pretty soon. He's 19, he is a big kid. So I guess even kind of looking back through life, I feel like one of the big things that God has used in my life, in a lot of ways actually, is the fact that I've had a lot of different medical issues that have come up in life. And when I was 15, it was my first kind of major surgery, and I knew then that I wanted to be a nurse. So I'm a nurse. I work part-time. I work in the PACU, which is post-anesthesia care unit, which is a fancy way of saying the recovery room after surgery. But I did 16 years in the ER, and I have many stories if you ever want to know all the crazy, dramatic stories from the ER. I was like, I'm done with that now, so I moved on to the recovery room, and I love it. I just work 2 days a week. Anyway, but going back to kind of medical issues, I shared this with the leaders last Sunday, that I feel like the Lord has used those things in my life to kind of, to humble me, and also to just really reinforce my need, my weakness. I really don't like to be weak. I really don't like to be needy. I really like to be able to take care of myself and to do, but that was created a bunch of pride in me, I think, that just needed to be squashed. And so over the last number of years, a number of different things have happened, and those have just kind of driven me into just realizing my weakness before the Lord, and just acknowledging that. And so that also kind of drove me into a lot of the ministry things that I've done in the past. So when we were, grew up at Good Shepherd, and then we actually came to Cornerstone for a little minute. And then through Cornerstone, we met Virgil and Kelsey Brown, and we went with the first group of people to plant GBC from Cornerstone, and that was an awesome experience. It was hard, but it was really great. Served in ministry there. Actually, another story that I'll tell you another time is I am like the most reluctant women's ministry director. I was. I was the most reluctant. But as soon as I was like, fine, okay, I'll do it, because I really felt like the Lord was drawing me to it. And as soon as I said yes, even though I didn't want to do it, I actually loved it. And so that's also another thing that the Lord has taught me, is that where the Lord leads you is where you want to be. And so I did that for 10 years at Gresham Bible Church and learned a ton and made a ton of mistakes, but also had a lot of grace. And so I feel like, those are the ways that God has kind of taught me through ministry and through life. And so I am just excited to be at this point. It feels like I've shared this with a couple of you guys, that it feels like there has been a lot of things going back to forever that have kind of led us to this place. Whether it is actually Cornerstone, the place, or just the place of being willing to say yes to the Lord to do pastoral ministry. We are going in eyes wide open, that we know that ministry is hard, and we know that that it's not just going to be this exciting, labelless full thing all the time, and we'll just skip around. No, not you people. I'm sure you people are awesome. Other places it's hard, but really, there is excitement in us to do this new thing that the Lord has called us to. And again, going back to where the Lord is calling us, that's where we want to be. So
they clap a lot at Good Shepherd. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. It's funny, I joke with them, I was like, man, you guys clap a lot, because I was not used to that. Now I'm back at a place that doesn't clap at all. Okay. I also grew up in a Christian home. One of my earliest memories is praying the sinner's prayer with my mom in her bedroom when I was just a wee little guy. I think the Lord might have saved me then. For sure, when I got into high school is when things got real, my faith got real. When we were at Good Shepherd at the time, and the way the youth group and all sorts of things just kind of shifted who I hung out with and helped me walk with the Lord. One of my mentors, Steve Keels, is here right now, who some of you know. And freshman year, a Bible study with some of my buddies with Steve. That was the first time I started to love God's Word. After a couple years at Oregon State, married this one, and then finished at Multnomah Bible College. Then I got my master's at Concordia. So if I get a degree from your school, it's not going to last very much longer. Both of those schools no longer exist. So, oh man. And then yeah, we helped launch Gresham Bible Church, and we're there for a long time. I grew so much there, and had opportunity to experience ministry a lot of different ways. And one of them was getting into the pulpit, which I had done maybe one or two times at Good Shepherd, just in like youth group and college group. It was just a disaster. It was horrible. I was like, I'm never doing that again. And then Virgil somehow did a Jedi mind trick and got me up there. I didn't want to. I told Ange, preaching like he's turned me into somebody who gets into the pulpit. It was against my will at first, and now I'm excited for the opportunity. So I've been teaching. This is my 21st year teaching. For 16 years, I was at Ron Russell Middle School teaching math, junior high math in Southeast Portland. So Brian in the back has been a best bud of mine since like 7th grade, and we had 15 years where we got to carpool to work together, where people got to call me Mr. Arnold and him Mr. Stump because they couldn't tell us apart. Then we were getting towards the end, and when it was getting to be just a little too much crazy town for me in the public schools, I was just exploring possibilities. I was looking at what is now 8th Street Academy, Phonics Factory, an empty school building, and I was like, Lord, do you want me to start a school? Like, I can't go in the boys' bathroom and see a tampon dispenser in here. I can't do this anymore. And I was working with the people that were like the champions of that kind of stuff, many of them, and it just was hard. Knowing when to speak up and to get into all that and when not to, and I just don't want to be that guy. It was just hard. And so I reached out to the Good Shepherd School principal, never met Debbie Booth before, and just emailed and said, hey, could I pick your brain? I wanted to know what are some of the rules for private schools that are different than public schools. And she said, yeah, I'd love to get together with you. I also have an opening for a math, science, and Bible teacher in our junior high. And I was like, huh. So the Lord opened some doors, and one thing led to another, and I've been at Good Shepherd School now for this is my 5th year there, being able to teach Bible, 7th and 8th graders, and it's given me a love for teaching again. It's been an absolute perfect fit. I've loved every second of it. Leaving there is going to be very hard. God brought us back to Good Shepherd at church about 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago. I've been serving as an elder since January. So God has just the mysterious ways of working, and I don't know. I was talking to Steve after an elder meeting, and he was like, I just don't understand what God's doing. And I said, I don't either. All I know is that I needed all my time at Gresham Bible, and I needed all these last 3 years at Good Shepherd for me to even consider doing something like this. He has worked in huge ways in my heart and shaped who I am and sanctified me. And so if his plan a long time ago was to bring me to Cornerstone in this role, I needed all of the unofficial training I was getting everywhere else. So I love both of those churches, Gresham Bible Church and Good Shepherd and Cornerstone. But the way that they have shaped and influenced me, it's changed me for the better. So I'm excited about maybe what comes next here, and excited. I met a bunch of you already, but we're hanging around and happy to talk to you. And I know Barry's going to come give some of those instructions, so I'll hand it off to him. That's right. Clap.